What's up guys, welcome to today's video. So today we are talking Photomechanic. I'm going to go through my whole workflow. So the other day, a while ago, I did a video around my workflow showing Photomechanic and the process that I go through Pitchside. So what I thought I would do is do a much more up-to-date version of that for you guys, a much more full one in a little bit more detail. I think people found the other one interesting, so the idea of this one is that we just cover off a bit more detail around how it looks. Before we get into the video though guys, if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to me. Loads more videos like this coming along. We've done some already. Loads more videos you guys should go check out on my channel. But wait, don't go check those out yet. At the end of this video, there will be a link to some of those. Don't forget to check out my social media channels, guys. You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram. I'm going to put those on the screen right now. The top one is a Twitter and Instagram account, and the bottom one is an Instagram account. Go check those ones out, guys. Loads of behind the scenes pictures, loads of stuff, things that I do, loads of my photos, stuff like that, which hopefully you will find interesting. If you are already a subscriber to the channel, thank you very much, but don't forget to hit that notification button. That's the bell next to the subscribe button. That will let you know every time I upload a new video. So guys, today's video will be showing you all about that workflow that I use. I need to show you Photomechanic, I need to show you a little bit of what I do in Lightroom, and then what I do to export the photos and send them off. So, first things first, for this to work, I'm going to bring you guys into the laptop to show you the detail of what I do on the screen. The last video I did, it wasn't so good, wasn't so detailed. This should be a whole lot better. So, ready to do this? Let's go. Okay guys, so here we are in the laptop. Now the first thing to say is by the time we get to this stage, we have to assume that I have, of course, already taken photos, and also that I've gone through those images on the back of the camera and I have locked the files that I want to import into Photomechanic. If I don't do that, this next step is a hell of a lot longer because I would have to import all the files. So, first thing I do is plug in the memory card, which I'm doing just off the screen, and as soon as I've done that, this window here will pop up, which has just appeared now. This is the memory card here that I have just plugged in. Now, you see over here, I have got this selected as just copy locked photos only. You can select unlocked photos, unlocked only, both, but I want just locked only, because then I know it is only going to be importing the photos into Photomechanic that I have locked in the back of the camera. The other thing I want to have here is this box ticked. This is going to apply the information from the stationery pad. Now that information is in here. This is information that I filled out earlier. In fact, this is done just here from when I was just filming a previous video, which you guys might have already seen. So that's how it will look normally. It will look like this. It's got all the information for the relevant game. This is a basketball game, guys. I'm using it for the example here. So all I will have to do is fill in the data of the players and what's happening in the photo in this section here before. Everything else is done and filled in. So right now we can close that. So if I press, I've got locked photos only. I'm going to apply the stationery pad info. Also over here, I want to have this clicked. So this is only going to be importing new photos. So if I'm doing this through the course of the game, it won't import all the locked photos every time. It will only import the new ones. So card is selected, locked only, stationery pad, new photos only. Let's press ingest, and it is going to copy the files across. Now, for the sake of this, guys, what I just did there, in case I had this unselected, if you don't have 0 starred images, it will look like they're not there. Just click on this and suddenly they'll all appear because they don't have any kind of rating. So I locked 3 images in the back of the camera. Now the first thing that we need to do is add the information for what's happening in the relevant photo. So this photo over here, this is Daryl Palmer being introduced. So I will put my code wording in here for Daryl. And I will put is introduced to the fans before, so I just need to then delete during and make that say fans and not faz. And then once you've done that, I'm happy guys, that's got what I needed in there. I can then press save and next. It will save that information and it will take me to the next photo. I just double check, although I'm pretty sure already I know. Yep, there we go, it is. It's Alex, so we do 23. Takes the jump shot. Now what I normally would write is with, and I would put in here the Worcester Wolves player defending, but I know that I don't have the Worcester Wolves keyword set up in Photomechanic right now, so I'm not 100% sure who that is, guys. That's why you have the keywords. I can see it's number 10. So normally when I've got the keywording in, I would just put a code word in like that, and whoever it was would appear. But right now, unfortunately, I don't have him in there. So let's just make sure that we have that right. Takes the jump shot. Let's move on to the next photo. Here we go. Now you see, this is a good example. I'm not 100% sure who that is, but I know it's number 12. So all I have to do is put in my keyword for number 12. There we go, it's Levi Noyle, and he appears. And I'll put pulls up for a jump shot during the thing. Boom, done. Now, all those 3 images, I'm happy. I want those 3. If for some reason I didn't want any of the 3, I don't have to select all of them. But if I just press Control A, it selects all of them. If I keep pressing Control and click on one, it will unselect it. Maybe I decided just want these 2. But for the sake of this, I want all of them. So we're going to press Control A. Now, the second step of my workflow is to export them into Lightroom. Now, this is something which actually a couple of people have asked me, well, what's the easiest way to export them from Photomechanic into Lightroom? It's a hell of a lot easier than you think, guys. You have to have Lightroom on Library up here. You drag the photos here, down into Lightroom. Lightroom will open up to here, and boom, you can move them all across, guys. It moves all the photos across, simple as that. Now, over here, I don't want to add any metadata to any of these photos because I've already done that in Photomechanic. What I do want to do is run a basic preset development settings on them, which is what I've got in here. That's what this is. These are the different settings, and that's one of my presets I've created myself. And that will run a very simple edit on all of these photos. What I know it's probably not going to do is the white balance, which often needs to be adjusted. In this particular venue, the light balance is really funny. It can change from one side of the court to the other, and from one end it looks yellow, the other end it looks blue. The blue walls throw it off too. It's a disaster, to be honest. But anyway. Okay, guys, and those files have imported. So, as I said before, that preset which I made, it hasn't done a huge amount of editing to the photos. It's just literally just done a real quick develop, tweak the contrast up, tiny little bit of noise reduction, some stuff like that. So I'm just going to go through and edit on these photos one at a time. Now, what I'm going to do with this first one is to crop. Now, what guys, is that I'm cropping quite a bit. The important thing to be aware of, you don't need to worry about cropping sports photos too much. Don't crop photos too much, get it right in camera. Well, look, I understand, guys, but why would you not crop? If you're happy with, with the photo, great. If not, and you think a little bit of a crop, then fantastic, So this second photo, now this second photo is actually a great example of something which is good, and I don't need to crop it. I'm happy with that photo. There's a couple of bits which annoy me about it, like look, this guy here, the feet being cut off, that's a shame, but it's not the end of the world. The focal point's good. There's not a load of dead space. I've got the faces. I've got the ball. I guess there's a whole separate video, guys, about what makes a good sports photo. But having people's faces, having the ball in the frame is a big thing for me. So often missed. The third photo, I don't think there's really a need to crop, but I mentioned that white balance thing to you. You can see this photo here has a slight yellow tinge. So I am just going to slightly tweak the temperature of this one. Not much. In fact, there we go. That's all it needs. And then the core out on this. So I'm just going to slightly bring that back in. There we go. So those 3 photos are good to go, guys. So now we need to export them. So exactly the same as Photomechanic. You press Control A, and that selects all the photos. Then up here in File, we go to Export. There's also a shortcut you can do, which is Control-Shift-E. So if we go back to the first page here, I'm just pressing now Control-Shift-E, and the Export box will appear. Now, as with Photomechanic in the stationery pad, there is information in here that I have filled in advance. Number 1, up the top here, I have filled in where I want the files to go. So I'm exporting them to a folder that I have on my desktop called First Half. I'll show you a bit more about that in a second. I've also filled in the file name. So I've named the file what I want it to be called. That will be determined normally by your client in much the same way that also the image sizing down here as well. I've set these images actually to fairly small just to make it a bit easier to show you guys on this video, but your clients will tell you, how big they need the photo to be. Sometimes it will be inches, sometimes it will be a file size. They might get you to limit the file size to a certain amount, various things that they will do. But either way, I've done that. all set up before the game, so I know that's all good to go. So in real time, all I will have to do is make sure all the photos are selected, which I've done. I press Control Shift, my export box appears, and I hit export, and I know now that is going to work. The only thing I would have needed to change is if these weren't the first images I was exporting, I might want to change the file number 5. I've already exported 4 images and so on. So over to my desktop. Now, I mentioned to you guys that I had set up some folders, which I've done. You can see them up here. I have a folder for the first half, a folder for the second half, and a couple of other folders I use too. Fairly common sense. I'm going to export images from the first half into here, images from the second half into here. You can create more folders if you want to, guys. You can create first half A, first half B, if you're going to be exporting more than once in a half. If it's something like basketball, you can do first quarter, second quarter. You can do a whole load of things. But for me, I'm just going to export them into this folder here so that they are ready to export out to the client. So the photos are in here. That's the 3 photos. Now, I've got options here. I can do them on a file transfer process, which I normally personally would use FileZilla over here. I won't go into the details of FileZilla for this video because there's quite a lot of information in there, and that would take a while. Sometimes I email them, where I literally would just create a window open here with an email, and I just drag them into the email and I send. Again, that would depend on the client. Actually, for these particular basketball images, this client here actually has them on email, so it's a little bit easier for me. Well, no, I don't know if it's easier, but it's straightforward. But that's the workflow, really, guys. So just to recap quickly, I was in Photomechanic. I've added the information in there from the stationery pad. I exported to Lightroom, and I've run a quick edit on the photos, and then I've exported them out to the desktop so that they are ready to send. That entire process, obviously, for the purpose of this video, took quite a while. In real time, I would be trying to do that in kind of 3-4 minutes, definitely less than 5. I'm not the quickest. There are guys out there who will knock that out in 2 minutes flat, but hey, look, I'm trying my best and I'm getting quicker every time I do it. So guys, right, we need to jump back out the laptop. So guys, that's the whole workflow beginning to end. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching the video. The next one will be up soon, and I'll see you guys then.